the audio. There's always a challenge with this. Let me just see that you can in fact hear me. Hmm. Let's see. I'm trying to see if my transmission is coming live. I don't see it. All right. But anyways, I think we're live, and I think that you should be able to hear me. Hello, my name is Franklin Garcia here, your former U.S. Shadow Representative for the District of Columbia. And I just wanted to do a live stream. I just completed a live streaming on another show, and the subject was the DC primary coming up on June the 21st, just in a short time. And so I just wanted to connect with you and spend about 5 minutes to tell you a little bit about the primary. In the District of Columbia, we have closed primaries. And so if you are a registered member of a party, you can vote on the 21st. In fact, people are starting to vote now because what we have done is we started putting all these ballot boxes throughout the city where people can simply put a mailing ballot that they have received and deposit them anywhere throughout the war. Early election, early voting, official early voting takes place this coming Friday, the 10th, and ends on June the 19th. So at that point, you'll be able to go to physical locations to vote throughout the war. And it doesn't matter what war you live in. So if you live in War 5 and happen to, for example, work in War 1, you can actually go to a precinct, a place that's open conveniently to you in War 1. It doesn't matter where you go vote during the time of early voting. So we're excited about that. And in case you don't know, in this cycle, half of the DC city councilors are going to be elected. So in the District of Columbia, we have a city council made up of 13 members, and then we have the attorney general, the mayor of the city, and also the member of the shadow delegation that currently occupies my spot, the U.S. shadow rep, is also up for re-election, and of course our delegate in Congress. That's those are basically the seats that you're going to be voting for. And so it's an exciting time. I hope you all participate. If you don't know how to vote or who to vote for, there are a number of sites on the web that detail the positions of some of the candidates and a little bit of their profile. If you haven't had an opportunity to visit with them while they were out and about. It's exciting. Let me just go through the list and tell you some of the races. I know that there's a very hot one with the mayor. Obviously, Mayor Muriel Bowser is going for a third term. She's been serving for 2 terms. She's going to come to the end of her second term, and she is seeking to be elected a third time. I believe that she'll get reelected again because Washingtonians believe that for the most part she has done a good job while serving the citizens of the District of Columbia, the residents of the District of Columbia. She really rose to the occasion during the pandemic, taking on the various challenges that the city had, to include, unlike some of the other places, taking on the president at that time, Donald Trump, with the various challenges we had. And so I think that Washingtonians respected her position and how she handled, for the most part, the pandemic. She's also improved many of the services of the city. I know that we're not where we should be, but I believe she has actually tried her best and has accomplished many of the things that she set out to do. I think that her stance on statehood is the strongest we've ever seen of any mayoral, anybody occupying that seat. She has demonstrated her desire to have the citizens of the District of Columbia be equal as their counterparts in other states. And every time she has an opportunity to talk about this statehood, especially when she is addressing a national audience, she takes the opportunity to address the inequality that exists in the nation's capital. So for that, my vote would be for Muriel Bowser. We also have another hot race. It's that of the open seat after the Attorney General Carl Racine decided not to seek a third term. He was in office for 2 terms. Incidentally, he is the first elected Attorney General. Prior to him, it was an appointed position. We one time thought that Kenya Council Member, Ward 5 Council Member Kenya McDuffie would have competed for that position. Unfortunately, he was deemed ineligible for that position because he did not meet the minimum required to sort of saying apply for the job. And he took it to court, and throughout the whole process or the ordeal, he lost. And so perhaps he'll try again at a different time. So that leaves the seat for 3 people that are fairly unknown to most residents of the city. I think that they're all very worthy of your vote. And if you read and look into them, I think that they all have great accomplishments and they all want to serve. So that's an open race there that we're not clear how that will go. Then we have starting another competitive race that we have, or open seat, I should say. It's in Ward 3, when you have a number of candidates. I think there are about 9 of them who are running, to include people that have run in the past, like Mr. Froman, who I think may be the leading candidate there. We have also an 18-year-old that is also trying to make a point by running in that race, and also the Ward 3 chair of the Ward 3 Democrats, Mr. Thomas, is also in that race. I think that it's likely that Mr. Froman would be the victor in that race, merely because he ran before and came in very close to winning. And so we think that even though it's an open seat, I think he may have the advantage in that he ran again and is one of the most and after running, he continued to be active in the community. That's one thing also that I think people take note of. A lot of people run for office and sort of they disappear. They don't come back to the community and continue to be engaged. I think that Mr. Froman, it's one that we've seen continuously throughout the city, working on different issues, and I think people take note of that. Another race that is important also is in Ward 5, when there is also another open seat. That one has 6 candidates who are running for a seat on the DC Council. That seat became vacant after Councilmember McDuffie decided to run for the Attorney General seat, even though he was not eligible to continue his candidacy. He cannot return to that seat again. And so it is an open seat. There, I believe that Vincent Orange, for disclosure, I am chairing his campaign. He, I think, is an incredibly good candidate for the war. I know that the War 5 is changing. It's getting a lot of new people, different demographics. But Vincent Orange has demonstrated over the year that he is an achiever. He brought much of this prosperity in the war back when he was council member, before he was a Ward 5 council member and then became an at-large council member also. And during his time on the council, he helped achieve a number of economic development for Ward 5. And so I think that people recognize that. And it's not necessarily about experience, it's about the whole package. Vincent Orange is not only about experience, he also tries very hard to bring communities together. I know some people sometimes think otherwise, but that I've known him for many years, and he's always tried to bring communities together and also to help the most needy. That's one thing that most people recognize. Those people who know him well, they know that he is about helping people, trying to ensure that those left behind have some help to guide them. And so for that, you must applaud him. So we don't know how that'll turn out because it is an incredibly competitive race. But we think that Ward 5 residents should definitely consider voting for Vincent Orange because he's not because only the experience that he has, but also the fact that he is about inclusion and bringing the community together. So I'm very excited to help him achieve that. Also, another race that's somewhat competitive, I think, are the races in Ward 1 and the at-large race for uh, really at-large race, where council member in the at-large race, council member Anita Bonds is seeking to come back. I think that she's a good choice to come back. She's demonstrated that she's a good ally for many communities, not just the one community that she seems to be helping the most or a lot, which is seniors, but she's also helping the LGBTQ community, the Latino community, immigrant community, obviously. At large, you have to be involved in just about every community, but she truly takes her time to look at all the communities and try to help those communities as she can. And she's done that and demonstrated it. Certainly in the Latino community, she's been an incredible ally for much of the work that I have done in the past to increase in participation and ensure that we have somewhat a seat at the table whenever available, which is in the form of hiring somebody in her office. So I'm excited that she decided to continue for another term, and I think we should have her come back because she is a good council person that is very much needed on the DC Council. War One, I believe that was, that's another somewhat competitive. I don't think it's as competitive as some people make it out to be. I think that Council Member Brian Nadeau will come back because people, I think, for the most part, believe that she's doing a good job. And I think that, there's always discontent with some constituents, always. But for the most part, I think she's done a good job, and she is, I think, worthy of your vote. If you live in Ward 1, she's got a contender. His name is Salah Zapari, I believe, who's been endorsed by the Washington Post. He is also being recently involved with the members of the Republican Party. Remember, this is a Democratic primary. If you are a Democrat, the Republicans have their own primary, but this primary that Mr. Zapari is participating in is the Democratic primary, and he seems to be associating himself with a bunch of Republicans and Trump allies to include some key members of his campaign. And I know that there's been some literature put out throughout the war showing this connection, and members of related to him or allies of his campaigns have been caught on media, on social media, taking down those signs. So I don't think, I think people are taking note, is all I can say. So I think that Council Member Brian Nadeau deserves your vote again if you live in Ward 1, because she has truly created a transparent office in Ward 1, an inclusive office, and she cares a lot about much of the issues that affect Ward 1. So I think that you should consider voting for her again, and I think she will win. The U.S. Shadow Rep also has the incumbent Representative Oye, who is seeking a second term against Linda Gray, who is the vice chair of the Democratic Party currently. I think that one, you all decide on that, how you're going to vote. It seems that Representative Oye is out there. He's doing a lot of work. And so he's got some key endorsements. So when he signs all over, I haven't seen that many of Linda Gray, but I know she wants to continue to do her work on statehood, and she's very passionate about it. But you all decide on that. That is an important race also, so be sure to vote. And I think that, I think that the chairman of the council, I think that's a no-brainer. I think that Council Member Phil Mendelson will come back I don't think that there's really that's a competitive race at all. But he's out there doing what he needs to do and what he should be doing, which is making sure that he doesn't take your vote for granted, which is good. I've already endorsed him and told him that I will be voting for him. I think that's the right choice. Phil Mendelssohn. It's a good balance in the city. Some people think he's a little too moderate, but I think it's a good balance for the city. Let's see. I don't think that there is any other competitor. I mean, Charles Allen is running unopposed in more seats, so he'll come back, and I think that's it. It's 1, 3, 5, and then the two, the independent that will be decided a little later, and then the Democrat Anita Bonds, plus the Attorney General, the mayor of the city, the chairman of the council, and the U.S. shadow representative. And the delegate, of course, is Congresswoman Norton, which I'm sure will come back because it is very difficult to defeat somebody who has been in office for 30 plus years. At some point, I think, we appreciate all the work that Delegate Norton's doing, and we know the accomplishments and all her commitment to the cause. We're incredibly grateful, but I think at some point she needs to move on and allow another person to come in and follow her footsteps. I mean, there are a number of us that would like to at some point, continue her legacy. And so, out of respect, I don't run for that office because she's done a good job and we appreciate what she has done. But I just think that this idea that, you're 80 plus and you're still doing that same job that, could use somebody else really. I think it's about time to retire. But hopefully that, she'll retire after this one term. There are a couple of other people running for that seat, and even after the primary, she always has a challenger in the general. But it's a given that she'll get reelected. Anyways, I just wanted to share that with you to let you know what's going on in the city of Washington D.C. Again, the primary is taking place on the 21st of June. So in a very short time, a little bit over a week. That's right. Maybe almost 2 weeks, right? Yeah. But the early voting, the official early voting, it takes place on the 10th of June, which is this Friday. It goes on until the 19th. And then they take a little break of 1 or 2 days. And then the primary takes place on the 21st of June. And remember what I said, that even though those places are opening physically on the 10th throughout the city, and normally people, when they go physically to vote, they go to their own voting place. In this case, during early voting, you can go anywhere. It doesn't matter what ward you're in or what ward the location of the voting place is. You can go and vote, which is a good thing. It makes it easy for people to vote early. So get out there and vote. Okay, folks, I hope you all have a great day and get out and vote.